Big news dropped. President Trump's talking about sending out $2,000 checks to Americans again. Yeah, you heard that right. $2,000, and this time he's saying it'll be funded by tariff money, not by raising taxes or borrowing. We're talking about a new kind of stimulus, something he's calling a dividend payment for low and middle income Americans. Sounds pretty wild, right? And it's got a lot of people asking who would qualify, when could it happen, and is it even real? Well, I've been digging through all the details, and we'll break it down piece by piece so it all makes sense. Before we jump in, though, if you like staying up to date on Social Security, stimulus checks, and benefits that actually affect your wallet, hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss out on future updates. All right, so here's the deal. Over the weekend, the president made a big post on Truth Social saying a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. Then the next day, he doubled down on it, this time specifically saying the money would go to low and middle-income U.S. citizens. That's a big change from the first post, and it's definitely something that got folks talking. I've seen so many of your comments, people asking, does that mean folks on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI would get it too? And honestly, based on what he said, there's a real chance. Because historically, whenever they've rolled out payments like this, eligibility has been based mainly on income, not whether you're working or retired. Now, let's be real, this isn't official law or bill yet. It's more like a proposal or idea being floated around. But it's not coming out of nowhere either. Trump's been teasing ideas like this for months. The $5,000 Doge dividend earlier this year, the $600 rebate from the American Worker Rebate Act, and now this $2,000 plan. So, while nothing's guaranteed, the pattern's there. He clearly wants to show that he's trying to put money back into people's pockets, especially at a time when prices keep climbing and people on fixed incomes are stretched thin. Here's what's interesting, though. He says the money would come from tariffs. Basically, when the U.S. puts a tariff on imported goods, foreign companies, or really U.S. importers, end up paying those fees, and the government collects that money. Right now, they've brought in about $195 billion in tariff revenue just this year, and if things keep going the same way, they could hit around $350 billion a year. Over the next decade, they're projecting around $3 trillion. That's a ton of money, and in theory, enough to fund something like this eventually, but not all at once. So if we do the math, sending $2,000 to roughly 85% of Americans, like they did with the 2021 stimulus checks, would cost around $568 billion. That's way more than what's currently sitting in tariff revenue. So if this plan actually moved forward, they'd likely have to borrow against future revenue to send out the payments up front, kind of like how the government's handled past stimulus rounds. Then they'd pay it back over time as more tariff money rolls in. It's not impossible, it's just ambitious. Now, people are asking who's high income? We don't have official numbers yet. But if it's anything like the last stimulus checks, that cutoff would probably be around $75,000 for individuals or $150,000 for married couples. That means most low and middle income folks, especially people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or small fixed incomes, would likely qualify. If you've been living on less than $30,000 or even $50,000 a year, this could absolutely include you. And yeah, that could make a real difference right now. But here's where things get tricky. The Supreme Court is currently reviewing the president's tariff powers. If they decide that his administration stretched the limits of what's legal under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, some of that tariff money might have to be refunded to importers, meaning the cash pile that's supposed to fund this whole plan could shrink or even disappear. So, there's definitely a legal cloud hanging over the idea. Treasury officials have even said they haven't discussed the specifics with him yet. One of them mentioned that instead of checks, it might come in the form of tax breaks, like no tax on tips over time or Social Security income. So, the details are all over the place right now. Still, the bigger picture here is that Trump's trying to position this as a for-the-people policy, basically saying, we're collecting all this money from foreign companies and we're giving it back to you. It's political for sure, but it's also tapping into what a lot of Americans are feeling. Tired of inflation, tired of high rent, tired of paying more for groceries. And the truth is, For a lot of people, $2,000 can mean catching up on bills, getting medication, or just breathing room for a month or two. But there are some real questions about how this would affect the economy. Experts are warning that it could raise inflation again. Remember how prices shot up after the 2020 and 2021 stimulus checks? The Federal Reserve estimated that those rounds added about 2.5 percentage points to inflation. So yeah, while the check would help in the short term, it might push prices up in the long run. Kind of like taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And hey, I get it. This all sounds like another round of maybe promises. People are tired of hearing about help that never actually comes. Some say it's just a campaign move. Others think it's a real preview of what might happen if this administration pushes through. Either way, it's something worth keeping an eye on, because if anything moves forward, you want to be ready, especially if you're someone who qualify. So, what do you think about this? Would a $2,000 check help you right now? Or do you think it's just talk? Let me know in the comments. I really do read them, and I love seeing what you all think about these updates. And if you know someone who's been struggling lately, maybe a family member on Social Security or SSI, go ahead and send them this video so they can stay in the loop too. You're appreciated for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon.